Number 5, redefine your value for 2023 because your buyers already have. I haven't lost anybody yet, have we? You guys still with me? Big capital yes in the comments. We're not sick of that yet. You guys can say Chris has bars again if you want. I still only mildly understand what that means. Apparently means I can rap. How can I rap? All right, redefine your value. Somebody said no. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Redefine your value. I'm going to give you an example. The example I'm going to use is my QuotaSignal business, where we sell interviews as a service, right? We have trained people that do professional interviews on behalf of our customers with their sales candidates. Imagine I'm competing with a company that does interview training. Okay, they don't do interviews on your behalf. They teach your managers to do amazing interviews. These are two different categories, but we're competing for the same budget. Okay. Here's how we defined the problem at the beginning of the deal, the example deal that I'm walking through. Sales managers on that particular team are poor interviewers. We need better, more predictive candidate interviews to reduce our first year attrition rate from 40 to 25%. What's the problem with that? It's hard for us to win if that's the problem definition, if we're competing with somebody who trains interviewers or sales managers to be better interviewers. Okay, the definition of the problem as your customer defines it dictates which solution they move on. And so if you're at a disadvantage, you have to redefine the problem. And so I'm going to teach you how to do that. You have to do rediscovery with the right person. And some of the techniques you learned at the beginning of this are going to help you do that. So we got in front of the VP of sales and he said, we need better, more predictive interviewing as defined. And we peeled back the onion. Why? What's going on in the business to drive that to be a priority? And he said, our first year attrition rate is 40%. We said, I understand why that would be painful, but why does that matter among everything else you could prioritize? Why prioritize that? And he said, we have daunting 2023 headcount plans to hit. We'll never hit those numbers if we keep mishiring 40% of our AEs. And we thought we were at the end of it, but he shared one more detail and he said, we're in a race for market share with our closest competitor. We have to cover our territories with AEs. If we're churning 40% of our people, those territories are going to be uncovered by us and up for grabs for our competitors. So now we redefined the problem with somebody who mattered to favor us. Now the problem they're solving is they're in a horse race with competitors to capture market share. It's not just making sales managers a little bit better at interviewing, as valuable as that might be. There is a much, much bigger business problem to be solved at play here, right? We went from we need our sales managers to be better interviewers to we need to scale and clinch market share because whoever wins this open market is going to keep it for a lot of time. Brant says, I like the question. Why does that matter in regards to everything else you're doing? Yep. So the way to redefine the problem is you probably need to peel back the onion even further. This goes to the first thing you learned. Okay, and you do that by number one, what's the right problem to anchor to in this deal based on what you sell? Who cares about that problem? Are they influential enough to sell that problem internally? Now, once you understand that, go do rediscovery with them, peel back the onion, use some of the questions that you learned earlier in this webinar. What's going on in your business to drive that to be a priority right now? What metric is suffering as a result? Dig, dig, dig. Okay, a great technique is to tee up your questions in a way that gets people to receive them by hedging. Right? That might sound like, I get that this question is going to sound kind of redundant, so just bear with me and then ask your question. Get in the habit of saying stuff like that. People are much more receptive to answering numerous questions when you do things like that. Just don't overuse it.